Afternoon, everyone. My whole life I've struggled with control, and I'm 28 and I'm only just getting it back, or at least I feel like I am. So today I want to talk to you. This whole day is going to be dedicated to talking about control, how to get it back, where did it go? Do you feel like you've lost control in your life? And do you feel like you're living on somebody else's terms and rules? So the truth is, I just had a counselling session. I have one once every 2 weeks with my counsellor. We do it online, which I find works well for me because I can sit in my dressing gown. And today we talked about how I recently became unemployed, essentially. And although I'm not going to go into that today, I've made some realisations that I like having control over my life. And it's not just about work, it's so much more than that. So today I just want to talk to you about that, really. I think what's important to note today is that I don't have a job. My job is currently talking to you. It's a very badly paid job, okay? So I'm working significantly below minimum wage right now. Okay, let's quickly talk about my initial struggles with control. My control, I feel like there's probably control over everybody, but I do feel like I was probably affected a bit more. Let's talk about where my control started. My control started from a very young age. My mum and my dad broke up when I was 3. I still saw him, he lived down the road. And then came in. It was literally like, maybe it was like Cinderella. Except I had an evil stepfather, not evil stepmother. My stepfather was extremely controlling to the point of it was domestic abuse, basically. Like, it was not good. Not a good time. Earlier on, I spoke mainly about control from within my sort of family, but we haven't talked about societal, social control or government control. Now, I know we live in a very relatively liberal country, but the control on us, I think, is getting more. Gym completed. So I was just talking to Izzy about control, and interestingly she felt the same. She was saying how she felt controlled kind of by capitalism. Controlled by capitalism because your life is basically controlled by money. And as somebody who currently doesn't have a job, I'm going to run out of money at some point. I basically have to go back to work or find some other way of earning money, because I'd love to just go off grid, live off my own back, have like a community of people, and just like do yoga and run about without any shoes on. Like, sometimes I really wish that I could just go back to that. When I talk about societal rules, I mean you must behave in a certain way. You must not say anything offensive or say anything that could be construed as offensive, or you must not I don't know, you must eat with a knife and fork, you must walk around with shoes on. As in, I don't necessarily feel controlled by that, because they're very minor. Like, I could probably walk around with no shoes on it would hurt and people would be like, what are you doing? But whatever, I've seen people do it. I guess for me, I've always struggled with the pressure of being a doctor and being very controlled as a doctor, and that didn't get any better over COVID, trust me. You know, we were held to certain standards of how to behave, and I struggled with it before, and then I think I've just always struggled with it. And there are certain ways doctors should and shouldn't behave, and there is, I think, as a result, that's like an unspoken control. I mean, it's very much spoken in medical school. You know, the first few weeks is like basically whipping you into shape, like, oh, by the way, now you have to like commit yourself to behaving like a doctor. Does that change when you're not a doctor? I mean, do people like, I've just seen a plumbing van, right? Do plumbers, do they have this same element of control where it's like, you haven't behaved like a plumber? Like, you've behaved out of the realms of plumber life, plumber construct. I don't know. I know that politicians do. Oh my fucking god, I forgot to mention, the one thing that does annoy me about this country, and I love going to other countries because of this, is all the health and safety rules. Like, I was in Thailand once, and there was a river, like, with a completely blunt, like, sharp drop-off. Not very steep, but not very far, but there was no sign there. There was no, like, watch out. It's left to people's own ability. Put you in the worst mood.